Disneyland. But these were interesting shots because I didn't have any of Roy Disney with the Rather family. But this is at the hotel's groundbreaking, March 18th, 1955. And another of Walt Disney. I wonder what's on that card. And now we move to the Disneyland Hotel, the initial construction. You can see Disneyland in the background. And the reason why Disneyland was a few months delayed, the hotel was a few months delayed in getting built, was because all of the plumbers and electricians and carpenters were working on Disneyland. And there weren't too many to spare to come over to the hotel. And this is just before it opened. The building up in the middle there, the white building, is a Richfield service station, and that's the Disneyland exit. So guess what? If you needed to gas up as you left Disneyland, you had a station right there. And they're just breaking ground for the administration, the first administration wing and restaurants there in the foreground. And you see all the orange trees here on the bottom. And this is construction of the pool, the Olympic pool. More shots of construction on the administration wing. And finally, this is just about before the grand opening, which was August 25th, 1956, almost a year after the hotel had actually opened. But this is the first time they had opened with all of the amenities that they had in the initial phase of the hotel. And it was like a Hollywood premiere. We had Art Linkletter, we had Walt Disney, William Bendix, Alan Ladd, Yvonne DiCarlo, Gene Crane, just a whole bunch of invited celebrity guests. I think there was 400 people there. I found 365 pictures of this event inside the storage vault. And one interesting thing that I found was this short movie that they had, Disneyland Hotel Opens. And invitations to the grand opening, and these aren't filled out. This is about a month before the hotel opened, and you can see there, that was probably the largest hotel in Anaheim at that time. And this is the clip. This is opening day of the Disneyland Hotel. The beautiful Olympic Pool and Choral Club. That's actress Gene Crane. There's William Bendix with Juanita Granville. Alan Ladd signing in on the registration book. Some of the invited guests and the press were there. And that's Helen Alvarez on the left. She was an original partner. And Jack's mom is to the right, Maisie. That's Lily Munster, Yvonne DiCarlo. And the Disneyland Band made an appearance that day with B.C. Walker. And Walt Disney. Anybody read lips? I'd love to know what he says there. And then the Olympic pool. Now some still shots from that day. This is them cutting the banner. This is an interesting shot because Helen Alvarez, she did not like to be photographed. And so when you find pictures of her, it's pretty rare. There's Yvonne DiCarlo, William Bendix, and Bonita Granville in the back. Jack's mom there next to Yvonne DiCarlo, Maisie. Later on, Disneyland Hotel would have Maisie's Pantry, named after her. Art and Lois Linkletter with Walt Disney. And that's the first hotel manager, Don Daly. He's 89 years old, he lives in Pennsylvania. And now, back to more of that City of Hope Telerama. One thing to keep in mind, this was broadcast live. So when you saw the Annette Funicello clip, you see how they put the pledges or the numbers that you can call in. This was a live fundraiser, similar to like a Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon today, where they ask you to call in numbers. So what you'll see here is you'll see that number popping up, and then you'll also see the entertainers or the MCs not coming in on cue like they did on Dateline Disneyland, or not knowing they're on camera. So there are quite a few slip-ups in this.
And now, we feel very privileged and honored to have a man with us who has given us probably more entertainment than any other single person in the world. He's the man who created this fabulous park across the way. He gave us so graciously his mouth today. Thank you so much for coming, Walt.
Well, it's a great pleasure. The cause of the City of Hope is something that anybody should go out of their way anytime for. And we're very happy to be included in this program to help in any way we can for this very worthwhile cause.
Well, you've been so generous already. I think everyone should know that when I visited the City of Hope, the first thing I saw on the children's wings were Walt's wonderful murals of all his happy little characters, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they all were brightening up the days of these poor little children who are having such a hard time getting well and with their trouble. They're all so brave, but oh, how they smile.
Well, I don't know of a better use that the characters could be put to.
Thank you very much, Walt, for being with us. Walt Disney, ladies and gentlemen.
Now that was a neat find. I didn't expect to see that on there. It's always a treat to see Walt Disney in a clip, hearing him speak. And now some still images again from the storage vault. One interesting thing that I found out is they did do a rehearsal for this. When they were filming the live actual television show, Bonita's wearing the floral dress, and obviously there's cameras. And when they're doing the rehearsal, she's in a white dress. Like here, this was part of the rehearsal for this. And one interesting thing on this picture is I was at the archives in Burbank and I talked to Rebecca Klein there, and she told me that she actually has those glasses from Walt Disney. And now this is Alan Jones standing in the back there, and his son Jack Jones in the front. And the lady on the far right is Alan Jones's wife. Obviously, that's Walt Disney. That's, I can't remember her name, the blonde lady, but she was Blondie on Broadway. Penny Singleton, I think is her name. Anyway, one interesting thing, this was June 22nd, 1957. Alan Jones and his wife filed for divorce June 29th, 1957. So a week later, they filed for divorce, but they look so happy here. This is an interesting shot because this is the mayors of Southern California. I think it's Orange, La Habra, Anaheim, Santa Ana, and they're putting in money in the punch bowl there for the City of Hope for the pledges they're putting in there. And if you look real closely, Walt's putting in a 20 and the mayors are putting in singles.
I want to tell you all that we are coming to you today live from the Disneyland Hotel out here in Orange County, and now we'll go back to Don DeFore for our first entertainment.
Prince Beer to air, Jimmy Dodd.
He doesn't know he's live.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can't mention or think of Disneyland without bringing to mind that wonderful group of youngsters, the Mouseketeers. And you can't bring to mind the Mouseketeers without seeing and thinking of that wonderful personality, that guy with the grin from ear to ear, Jimmy Dodd. Hi, thank you. I'd like to ask you all one good question. You all good Mouseketeers? Huh? Everybody? Wow! And you all know the Mickey Mouse March, huh? Good. What do you say we start right out with it, shall we? Everybody, okay, Pete?
I want to hear you sing along with them.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Hey there, hi there, ho there, you're as welcome as can be. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, forever let us hold our banner high, 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 high. Come along and sing the song and join the jamboree. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. Let's hear it. Yay, Mickey! Yay, Mickey! Yay, Mickey Mouse Club! Hooray! We are the Merry Mouseketeers.
We've got a lot of bubbles, a lot right here. Now we give it to you, and maybe don't you know a salute. So we can make it Mouseketeers, Mouseketeers. As we continue through the years, we won't forget the Mouseketeers, Mouseketeers. 1, 2, 3.
a little late here.
Thank you, Musketeers, and thank you, Jimmy Dodd. Thank you very much. Now, Benita, I give it back to you.
Thanks, Doc.
It was live television. Now some still shots from that event. I have the clips of these two, but in interest of time, I had to keep it to an hour. Cubby O'Brien did a drum solo. It was just amazing. And then the Mouseketeers came out and did another dance called the Humphrey Hop. Fess Parker was there, one of my favorites. I don't know how many times I've watched Davy Crockett with my two boys. And one interesting thing about this photograph that you'll see a little bit later in the presentation, there's one lifeguard there on the left. Keep an eye on him. You'll see him a little bit later. This guy never wears a shirt. And a color shot from that day. This gives you a real good idea of how beautiful it was there at the Disneyland Hotel with the pastel colors and things in the 50s. And now this was a concept drawing for the first tower building at the Disneyland Hotel. This is from 1961. And I have a very special guest here that was the architect. He designed and built this building, as well as all of the other towers at the Disneyland Hotel. Al Nicholson, where are you, Al? Al Nicholson, right here. Al will be 92 in November. He also met and worked with Walt Disney in person, so I thought that was pretty neat. Al got a hold of me through the internet one day and came up to visit us. He lives in Malibu. And he came over and he had a trunk full of pictures and blueprints. And it's just amazing. I'm so happy that we're friends. So anyway, this is 1961 when they built the first tower at the hotel. And I found a movie in there that I almost didn't record because the title of the film just said a special place. It didn't say anything about Disneyland or the hotel. So I almost just left it back in the vault, but I looked at a couple of the frames.
Once on a very important day, a building was dedicated. This exciting new building, called the Tower, is the latest addition to a most famous hotel. Everyone is pleased because this will be the best, most logical, convenient, and special place to consider for your next business meeting, trade show, or convention. It's so easy to get to. You can come by bus.
It gets better.
Jet airplane.
It gets better.
In a car. But the most fun of all is by monorail.
And this was when it was brand new.
Right in the center of fun and enjoyment at Disneyland Hotel. Such fun that you'll wonder where each day and night when at Disneyland Hotel.
Take an enchanted vacation.
The magical kingdom is swell. You do a thing like so wonderful things at Disneyland Hotel. At Disneyland Hotel.
However you may decide to come, the minute you arrive, you will feel the magic spell of this very special place. You will quickly discover that your hotel room key over the luxurious way of life and the casual California manner.
Now this hotel had the friendliest bellman on the planet, and you'll see why. There he is.
Don't forget to bring your camera and a pocket full of film to record all of the beautiful sights and memorable events during your stay. There are 456 rooms especially designed and furnished for your pleasure and comfort. Adjoining each room is a private enclosed patio for sunning, informal conferences, or quiet meditation. During some seasons, just outside your room, you can
Some of the original orange groves that were on the property. And now I also found a portfolio full of still images from this time period. And this is when the monorail extending over to the hotel was less than, probably within just a couple of months old, because the tower's not even there yet. It was brand new coming over to the hotel. And this is Monorail Red. And this is a helicopter flying over. There was a helicopter landing port across the street from the hotel. LA Airways operated, I think, 14 flights a day to and from LAX and the Disneyland Hotel. Al, you built some beautiful buildings there. This is the pool. And this is the shops area. If you notice, there's KEZY. There was an actual radio station at the hotel. They broadcast live daily. KEZY, it was, I think it was 1190 on the AM dial. They played easy listening music, hence the name. And this is the coffee shop. This was later, in later years, become the Monorail Cafe. One of my favorite places to go there. Another shot of the tower. And this is another can of film that I found. This was the movie that you would see in the hotel on Channel 6, which was their closed-circuit television. And this was a really neat film that I found showing the amenities at that time that would loop on that channel so you could see the different restaurants and features at the Disneyland Hotel.
Extremely honored today to have as our television hostess, Mrs. Jack Rather, the lovely wife of the president, the chairman of the board of the Rather Corporation, which owns the Disneyland Hotel. Now, Mrs. Rather is known to moviegoers all over the world as Bonita Granville. She is now the producer of the highly successful Lassie television series, Miss Bonita Granville Rather.
Thank you, Matt. And welcome to the Disneyland Hotel, the liveliest spot in Southern California. There is literally so much to see and do while you're here that simply deciding what to do and when always presents a delightful dilemma. The Disneyland Hotel has several fine restaurants, so whenever it's time for food and refreshments, another decision is required. Most of our restaurants are located on the east side of this vast complex. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whether it's eat and run or sumptuous dining, you'll find exactly the right menu and atmosphere to suit your mood. Our coffee house has long been a favorite of people on the go. In fact, many local residents, people who live and work in Anaheim, come here regularly to eat. That's the finest testimonial a restaurant can have. In our coffee house, you have the choice of either counter service, a table, or a booth. You'll find a wide variety of selections on the menu. Excellent coffee and prompt warm-ups. Not only is the coffee house a popular spot for breakfast, it's a great place for lunch and dinner too. A good thing to remember, 3 times a day. Several outstanding restaurants are located in this building, and we'll give you a television preview of each one. But first, here's something I'd like for you to see. Our corps of chefs is headed by one of the nation's most honored food authorities, Jack Sullivan. Chef Sullivan has twice been named manager of the American team in the Culinary Olympics. These are just a few of his many awards. Right next door is the California Dining Room, where you can dine in an authentic early California atmosphere. The California Dining Room features favorite American dishes and is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Special souvenir menus are given to the children. In keeping with the early California theme, we have El Vaquero, a superb steakhouse, styled in the manner of an early California ranch kitchen. Leisurely dinners are enjoyed here in the kitchen or on El Vaquero's picturesque plaza. Just a few steps to the south is our charming country kitchen. The country kitchen features complete breakfasts, luncheons, and dinners, and on Sundays, a special champagne brunch. In this quaint old world setting, even the hardiest of appetites are happily satisfied, because everyone is welcome to come back to the bountiful buffet for more. There's still another restaurant in this building, our elegant Oak Room, open 5 nights a week, Tuesday through Saturday.
Somebody did that?
The motif is that of an old English tavern, a delightful atmosphere for a gourmet dinner and an evening of dancing. Gentlemen are requested to wear jackets, and all Oak Room guests should be 16 or older. Have you had a chance yet to explore our fantastic water world? If so, you've already discovered the Shipyard Inn, where you can enjoy gourmet seafood luncheons and dinners, along with a magnificent view of the marina. Below deck of the Shipyard Inn is our Sailmaker's Den, a great spot for an aperitif at water's edge. Water world here at the Disneyland Hotel abounds with interesting and entertaining activities, many and varied, which change throughout the day. There are 2 cove pools for swimmers and paddlers, and for sun worshippers, even a sandy beach. You're invited to stroll the wharf and inspect the various marine artifacts on display. And everyone is always welcome aboard at our continuous boat show, where all types of craft are displayed in the water. You can even cast off on a voyage of your own in a rented paddle boat. We even have a little art colony on the wharf, where you can watch artists and craftsmen at work. Special entertainment is often provided, adding to the fun of your visit to our marina. Times for special water world activities are posted on the Events Today TV monitors in the lobby. At Waterworld is the internationally acclaimed Dancing Waters. 3 performances are given each evening. Showtimes are posted on the Events Today television sets at various locations throughout the hotel. The Disneyland Hotel is a 60-acre pleasure land, full of interesting things to see and do. There are many fascinating boutiques in our plaza building and arcade. Big golf center across the street, and for nightlife, well, that's another story. For up-to-the-minute details about all of these exciting activities and much more, we'll switch back to our studio here at the Disneyland Hotel.
Thank you, Mrs. Rather. A delightful person, as are all the people you'll meet during your stay at the Disneyland Hotel. And now to continue our televised tour, have you had a chance to stop by and see our golf center right across the street?
Disneyland Hotel has its own driving range and putting green. A full-time pro is on hand to help make your game even better. And for light-hearted golfers of all sizes, we have a fun-filled miniature 18-hole course where each shot is out of this world.
It's not advancing. The clicker's not working. And I probably just advanced it about 10 slides. Clicker's not working.
We are extremely honored today to have as our television hostess Mrs. Jack Rather, the lovely wife of the president, the chairman of the board of the Rather Corporation, which owns the Disneyland.
Okay, here we go. Now, again, one of the things that I'm fortunate about is that Jack Rather, seen there on the right, he loved to bring a camera, either a movie camera or a still image camera. And there he is filming some yacht races in San Diego. And another shot of Jack Rather filming. And this is that guy again that was in that picture that you saw. This is a home movie taken by Jack Rather in 1956 at the hotel. That's in a minute here, but you'll see there's construction of the Disneyland Hotel there. And that's Molly Rather, Jack Rather's oldest daughter. And that's Linda Rather on the bottom and one of their cousins. And this kid is very rowdy. But this guy, I don't think, ever wore a t-shirt in his life. Maybe if I looked like that, I wouldn't wear a t-shirt either. But... So I asked Molly if she remembered this guy, and she said, yes. So I take it there was something there. This is interesting because these are two Mouseketeers. Can you name them? Eileen Diamond. She was in for one season. And that's a still picture of them. And that's Chris Rather on the bottom and his sister Linda on the left. And this just shows from that clip that it was still a working orange grove. That truck there was gathering the harvest of the oranges. And this is an amazing piece of film footage that I found. It's from Disneyland 59, and it's on the film canister it said June, so this is right after these attractions were put in. The monorail, the Matterhorn, the submarine, various other attractions, but you'll see these attractions right when they were brand new. I'd love to have that banner. This is the tram. This is before the monorail was put in. Tram that would take you over to Disneyland. That's Bonita Granville, Chris Rather, Linda Rather, 1959, through the parking lot, taken by Jack Rather. And that's brand new. That's Jack Rather there now. Bonita's filming, getting in the, I think it was Astrojets at that time. I saw a box of popcorn like that on eBay the other day, and I think it was $100 for an empty box of, I hope it was empty. And this is the submarines when they're brand new. And now they're going up to the monorail. A 3-car monorail. With the wonderful bubble top. I just love those. And this was when the track only, I think it was 0.8 of a mile. It did not leave the park. It stayed within Disneyland. Going around Matterhorn Mountain. Now this is interesting because that's the pass entrance, and this is the pass they would have used, signed by Walt Disney. It's like a gold pass. And the back of the pass, signed by Jack Rather. And now here comes the banner again. I don't know how how many sets of footage that I have taken underwater in the submarine, but they're all the same. But still, I kept doing it. And I even got this same fish that you'll see here, which I'm sure many of you did when the original submarine. This guy right here. I don't know why we have to film that every time, but I did every time. And then them getting off. And now this is the old Disneyland cast member magazine, The Disneylander. And this is when they put in the golf facilities at the hotel. And when they first put in the miniature golf course, they were in white like this. They weren't colored or anything. And people were complaining about that, saying that they didn't really look realistic. So they brought over some of the Imagineers, and they painted all of these to make it look more realistic. But it gives you an idea of the depth or the perspective of the terraced golf course that it was. It was a beautiful course. And this is Chris Rather in his driveway at his home in Holmby Hills, holding up 9 fingers. He was born in 1952, so this would be 1961. This was for his 9th birthday. And that's a friend of his, and he told me who that was. That guy's wife is Jo Stafford, the singer. Or his mom, I'm sorry. It was Jo Stafford, the singer. And this is, for the birthday party, they're on the Land Cruiser, which was a precursor to a Winnebago. And they arrive at the Disneyland Hotel. And where do you think they're going to go first? No, I haven't heard it yet. No, the golf course, the miniature golf course. And there's Mickey all painted up. And this is Chris Rather. It looks like a bad shot, but then it goes right down the middle. You see the dwarfs on the diamond mines on the Matterhorn. You can see the Disneyland Hotel in the background. Beautiful Matterhorn, the cars driving by on West Street. And again, the level that this course was built, it was just amazing. That lasted there until 1978. The hotel's in the background there. The Stockade Fort. I get more letters and correspondences about this miniature golf course than just about anything. And Skull Rock and the Indian Village from Peter Pan. These were all themed after Disneyland attractions. Each of the 18 holes was themed after a Disneyland attraction. Alice in Wonderland for Fantasyland. And Mr. Smee. And now some still shots from that miniature golf course. This is the actual construction shot of the 18-hole golf course that they had. That would now be where the Marina Tower, I forgot what they call it now. But this is the construction shot for the actual 18-hole golf course. And this is construction of the monorail track. They have the barricades around it, and they've just moved it over from Disneyland to the hotel. And this is the monorail lounge, which is a very popular spot for Disney executives because they served alcohol. Except Tony. Tony never went there. And another one of the golf course. And then this is Jack Rather playing on the golf course. An overhead shot right before the first tower in 1961. And then there's the tower. And you'll notice it's only half as big as it is today. Because in 1965 they doubled it and just added a building right next to it. But you can see the golf course there in the background. And a few years ago I was fortunate enough to go up to the Walt Disney Family Museum where I was able to meet Ron Miller and Diane Disney Miller. And in my conversations with Diane, she told me that Walt Disney was never happier than when he was during the period where they were just finished with Disneyland, where they were about to open it to the public or for the day before the public on the press. And she just said that her father was beaming during that period. And again, back to that can of film. Now, if you notice on there, it just says TLR at Corriganville, which was a Western movie ranch in Simi Valley. TLR, of course, is the Lone Ranger. 55, 56, nothing about Disneyland. So I took this thinking that there would be Lone Ranger footage on it, which we saw previously. But what I didn't know that this film would contain was color shots of Disneyland's opening day. We all know a year construction, $17 million, the Dateline Disneyland broadcast with Art Linkletter, Ronald Reagan, and Bob Cummings. It was a black and white version exists and several prints in color, but until I heard just a couple of days ago, there is a little bit more footage of Walt on opening day as well. But this is actual footage of Walt Disney dedicating Disneyland, and you're the first large audience to see this. I hope. That's Bonita Granville, and that's Debbie Reynolds and her husband Eddie Fisher setting up on the car. And this is Walt Disney coming in on the train. You see there's camera crews up on the coal car. The Avenue of the Flags, Tomorrowland. And this is the Autopia. And I want you to notice the grounds. There's no foliage whatsoever. It's just bare. And this is Ronald Reagan. He was about to interview the Rathers by the Phantom Boats attraction. The color guard advancing the flags. And the band. And now I added this sound in.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past. And here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future.
Wasn't that neat? The raising of the flag. And then later I found another 20-second clip that'll be right after this. And that's Walt getting into his car and the parade. These are just short, choppy scenes, but I wanted to show you. Clock of the World and the TWA Moonliner rocket. So that's opening day footage. Now some still shots from this. That's Walt dedicating Disneyland. And somebody told me that the people up in the window over the firehouse are Mouseketeers. I haven't confirmed that, but they said the Mouseketeers were up there. And this is the one that I think is the quintessential picture of Walt Disney at the zenith of his happiness. This is when Walt was absolutely at the peak of happiness. And I wanted to capture this still image showing that because you could just see in the look in his face that he's just beaming. And again, I'm just fascinated by those cameras. And Ronald Reagan. And Walt coming in on the train. The Autopia. And, back to my book, another shameless plug. We did get a reprint of this. If anybody's interested in one, we'll be outside later if you want to pick up a copy. That's our first book, 2005. Second book. And the DVD. This is one of my favorites because after a long, hard, tiring day out at Disneyland, you have that oasis at the end of the parking lot, which was the Disneyland Hotel, where you could go back and lay down in your bed with your guidebooks and your souvenirs and dream about your next day at Disneyland. Even with your mouse ears and balloons. And that's my presentation. Let's keep Disneyland history alive. Keep Disneyland thank you so much for coming. It's been a blast.